making it happen. Not for us, we're making it happen for you. For you guys there.
Yes.
So what I want you to do, if you're watching the show, if you're here on the stream today, look, just copy the link, go into your WhatsApp and just paste. Share, all right?
Share the link.
If you've been here before, you've benefited from this. You think that some of the stuff we're talking about here is actually useful for couples that you know, for yourself. Listen, go into your Facebook, go into the timeline and share this link.
Yes.
It's important.
Yes, I just want to say good evening to all of you that have just jumped on live tonight. Good evening, Mrs. I Can Win, Kat Johnson, Emmy, Z, good evening, Ecosmios. Hi guys.
Listen, it's a pleasure to be here to serve you.
It really is.
So much so, this is what we're going to do.
We're going
to do, I want you guys to hashtag Marriage Matters.
Amen.
I want you to hashtag Save Marriage.
Yes.
Marriage, listen, I want you to hashtag Married for Life.
Yes.
Send
Marriage
that out.
matters.
Listen.
Yes.
Link this video. Share that link. Share it out. And what we're committed to doing, we're committed to giving a very intimate, myself and Sarah. We're gonna do a 1 hour session with a couple. All right. So we're gonna look at your big challenge, whatever your big issue is, the big challenge, and we're gonna work that through with you. Okay. So typically we charge for that, but for you guys, listen, we're here today to give value, massive value. So
good evening, Stels.
all you need to do is just share this stream, add the hashtag, and just comment in the comment space. Say, look, I've shared it. Okay.
And please, we do like to check if you can hear us. Just say we can hear you, or
audio is popping.
Might check 1 2. Yeah.
All right. Super.
Yes.
So, listen, I mentioned this to you guys a few weeks back, and we're here today. And what did I say to you? I said to you, look, we argue. Oh, we did argue.
Well.
Oh, we have argued.
Yes, we have.
And what we want to talk to you guys today is what we argue about. All right.
Obviously, not just what we argue about, but also what is what generally comes up.
Commonplace.
A lot,
What's commonplace?
You know, in relationships. Again, you know, we are here to support people that are married, but again, also people who are preparing for marriage as well.
Courting. You're courting.
Because to be honest, you know, watching this and, you know, speaking to people who are already married, you're kind of like in the best position, really, because if you're really going to take this on before marriage, then you know you're preparing yourself to be in a good place. So when certain things do come up, you're really kind of ready, and you've put your helmet of salvation on. Amen.
Come on.
Yes, we've got good audio. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right. So I'm just trying to.
Oh,
Tell me.
By the way, guys, look. I don't know if any of you've noticed, but I've been a few weeks without my brownies. My brownies are here, guys. I don't know if I'm going to eat it though.
For the man them, I spoke to you about this a couple of weeks back. You know, be careful when you're setting those expectations. You know, you be dating, and when you're dating, you're in your best behavior.
For sure.
You be taking her out,
yes,
spending that money,
yes,
giving her all the compliments. But then you think that when you're married, it's all over. It's done. Let me tell you something. If you wanna enjoy that peaceful space of marriage,
keep spending your money.
Easy, sister. What you need to do is ensure that you don't defer your partner's hope. You don't want to defer the hope. So if you're setting yourself up in a particular manner and you want things to go well, be prepared. Be prepared to stand by the things you say. Definitely. Be a man of integrity. All right.
And a woman of integrity too. It works both ways.
Yeah, I was talking to my brothers though.
I'm talking to my sisters.
All right. So when we use the term argue, we use it loosely. It's a loose term for us because I don't know if I should go straight in. I'm always getting straight in, right? So basically, back in the day, or long gone are the days of us rolling on the floor, tussling. Yeah.
Long gone are the days.
Sarah, for those of you that don't know, she used to be a bit of a fighter.
Oh my god.
She used to be a bit of a fighter. And did I cut in too quick? Did I cut in too early?
Really? Did you cut in too early? Just came to just, you know.
I'm just introducing you to the people here.
This is so funny.
So basically,
a little bit of background history.
So I want you all to know that basically back in the day,
that's right.
Sarah was a fire starter, and she was not afraid on any level to let me know how she felt. You know what I loved about Sarah to start with? One of the things I really liked about her was that she was just this kind of soft, at least I thought so, you know, kind of just very ladylike. She had this very ladylike demeanour. Obviously, we were a lot younger then. It's real cool, calm, ladylike demeanour. But the thing about Says is, if you cross her, just before we started, we were talking about, what was the question?
I had 5 brothers. I had brothers.
She's not playing.
Okay, I had 5 brothers and 1 sister. I had a few older big brothers as well on my dad's side. Okay, so I just thought I'd throw it out there. So all you ladies who have big brothers, okay, in front of you, you know, we tend to be a little bit more.
I think what she's trying to say is
rough.
Warn your man, your husband, early. So what was I saying? So yeah, so just before we were chatting just before we started, and Says was talking to me about like our biggest arguments, our greatest arguments. We were discussing some of those things there, and like long gone. I said we use the term loosely when we argue.
Yeah.
I won't say we really argue these days. What we do is we debate. What do we call it? We call it we have a heated fellowship. That's what we call it. It's a bit of a heated. We're still fellowshipping.
Yeah, of course.
But it's a bit hot.
Yeah, a bit.
Just a bit, yeah. So I wonder. What do you think some of the biggest issues are, or rather, let's make it personal. Remember, this is the safe zone.
That's right.
Might change the name for this show, you know.
We're drawing you guys into this. We're really drawing you into this. I mean, even though we're going to discuss a few things about, you know, what we argue about, but this show is also for you guys to share with us.
Come on now.
The things that you know, and because remember that what you're sharing is helping other people. Okay, because even though we're the ones sitting here, all of you watching, all of you typing, you're helping people, you know, all around the world. You know, you're helping people. So feel free to share. It is a safe zone. What do you feel comes up a lot in your relationship? What arguments are most prominent in your relationship? I mean, these are the things that we're here to tackle and discuss as well. So feel free to just get in the chat. Let's start talking about the things that are affecting people.
What are big issues for you? What's the number one big issue? If you don't feel comfortable to say, yeah, this is my issue, you know, we can code it. You'd be like, I know a person, I know somebody. So generally, either for yourself or for someone you know, what are the major issues that you feel tackle marriages? What do you generally argue about? Yeah. So obviously we said it on previous streams, one of the number one issues is money. Finances is a major issue when it comes to relationships and it comes to peace in relationships. Yeah. But that's just not it. And the truth of the matter, the truth be told, the reason a lot of people argue about finances is because there are insecurities and lacks of education in other areas. Yeah. This is what causes a major issue. Yeah. Says?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, finances, and let's think about now, the present season that the whole world is in. You can just imagine how many marriages are being thrown left, right and centre regarding finances right now. You know, I mean, finance is always something that comes up in relationships because, again, that MOT isn't done, the financial breakdown isn't done, the planning isn't done all beforehand. And then you have one person who might be terrible with money, you have someone who's really good with money, and the person who's good with money is trying to manage it, and the person who's terrible with money is just acting like they don't really care. So that in itself causes massive problems.
Quick question. Anybody know what our number one key, the number one key for successful relationship is? Because Sarah just touched on it there indirectly, and the problem is lack of
planning. Communication.
Sorry. What? I thought we were out of kilter for a minute. Lack of communication. Planning is foundational. But any relationship, any marriage, one thing that we hone in and focus on is communication.
That's
friendship.
That's our number one.
Friendship is foundational. 100%. You hear us say this again and again and again. Any couples that have sat down with us and spoken with us that we've coached, you know, without a shadow of a doubt, friendship is fundamental. If you're not friends, you need to build that base. And this is one of the things. I said it in a jovial manner earlier on, but I'm going back some 15 years, and I remember there was a day, and we were in East London, back at where we were staying, my house at the time, and I'd said something to Sarah that she didn't quite like, and she was absolutely cheesed off. And she said, "What do you mean?" What do you mean? And listen, the woman literally jumped on me. And it was funny, like, listen, maybe
I'm
you
really
can't...
getting drawn out today, aren't I, Stills? Thanks. Yeah, I really am.
Listen, I'm just keeping it real. You know what? I'm keeping it real for my brothers and for my sisters.
Come on.
This is the realness.
That's right.
I'm telling you,
that's right. 23 years deep, babe.
I'm telling you, this is the safe zone. When I say it's the safe zone, I told you, we are here.
Yeah.
We are, the sole purpose of us being here today is to help you build and bolster your relationship, your marriage.
Definitely.
For those of you who are preparing for courting, we are here to help you fully establish a strong base so you can have a successful marriage down the road.
Yeah.
So I say safe zone for you. This is a safe zone for us. We're sharing the realities here.
Yeah.
Like, we're here being open with you and telling you the truth. Says didn't like what I said. We might go into that in a little bit. And she dormant jumped on me. And it was funny. So I don't know, maybe you can't tell because of the cameras, but I'm significantly taller than her. Significant. But listen, the woman did not bat an eyelid. And she went for me. So I think she was trying to thump me or something. You know, you see it in the movies. She was trying to thump me. And listen, I was in hysterics. I was laughing, and I had grabbed her hands, and she was just like, you know, like trying to beat me when I was holding her. To the point, the woman is so strong, you know. I don't know how we end up in a garden, innit? We're in a garden. So maybe I was running from her, maybe I think.
Oh my days, you're talking like 22 years
did I say
ago.
15?
You said 15.
Listen, dialing back 22.
This is like 22 years
She
ago.
probably thinking, what's this guy talking about?
I was like, I didn't do that when I was grown.
Yeah, okay, my apologies.
It was like 15.
You a lady, baby.
We were like 15, yeah. So let me take the story.
Okay, go for it, go on, girl.
So yeah, because anyway, it doesn't matter.
No, sure it
is.
You know, you're doubling back now.
Obviously, the story doesn't really matter, but yeah, it was. Oh yeah, that's what. See, yeah, he was like, okay, so I came from school. Well, let's go early. Come and meet him, yeah. And then he was like, oh, I want to talk, blah blah blah. I was like, alright, cool then. He said to me, I want to break.
So I was like, listen, and this is, bear in mind.
He said he wanted a break. What break? Do I look like my Kit Kat?
Come on now. And you have to listen, bearing in mind, we've been coming together sometime then.
Days.
We discussed some stuff, and obviously we were emotionally invested. And I said to you guys, I said it to you a moment ago, you don't ever want to put your woman in a position where her hope is deferred.
Yeah.
And essentially at that point in time, I didn't know it at that point in time.
Yeah,
I was like, my mind wasn't where it is today.
Yeah.
But essentially what I was doing at that point in time was deferring her hope.
Yeah.
And as I did that to her, she exploded.
Days.
So obviously she's trying it. I think I'm holding her hands. Then I think I must have made a beeline for the garden. I ran out, and then
he ran.
She caught with me. So this is trying to beat on me, and so I'm grabbing it. I'm in hysterics. Funny. We ended up on the floor. We're rolling left and right, and I'm giving this illustration to say to you, this may be a long time ago.
Yeah.
But we've had series of kind of physical encounters like that.
Yeah.
We've had encounters where there's been like verbal challenges and it's been super emotional.
Yeah.
However, the key is, how do you work out of that situation?
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
And I've said it to you a moment ago. Communication.
Yes.
We were at a difficult juncture in our young and early life. But we were able to communicate our way through that.
That's right.
Willingness to communicate is the difference maker in relationships.
Yes.
It's one thing for me to say, look, I'm in it for the long haul. Sarah to say she's in it for the long haul. But if we are not we don't position ourselves mentally and physically to be willing to communicate. I'm saying it to you and you're like, yeah, but what do you mean? We talk all the time. I'm talking about on those deep levels.
Yeah.
The deepest of levels, because people think it's okay to chat with your man them or to chat with the gal them, but you don't open up and connect with your covenant partner.
Yeah.
This is what's important. When we're talking about marriage here, we're not talking about some business transaction. We're not talking about some flaky friendship. I hear this. Some movie came out a while ago, and I'll be seeing the type of friends with benefit. Listen, I got no respect for that nonsense. We're talking about
don't let the world be deceiving you guys.
We're talking about covenant.
Don't let the world deceive you.
Covenant partnership.
Yeah.
This is an experience that you enter into that is for the long haul.
Yeah.
And we weren't married at a point in time, but it got deep.
Yeah.
And we were able to communicate our way out of it. So back in the day, we had a lot of that. We grew out, and we said 2 weeks ago, said 2 weeks back that we've learned a lot of things the hard way. We've learned by experience. And another reason why we're here to share with you guys, you don't have to go through the drama we've gone through. Or if you're there now, you can make your way out.
That's it. You can make your way out. 100%.
I feel like I've been talking about
100%.
Let me say this so Says can speak. Look, so quickly, I'm in a little list here, and I'm going to tell you something real quick. So we don't really argue such per se today. It don't get as deep as it did and hot as it did before. We still have heated fellowships, but more it's debates and disagreements.
That's right.
You know why? Because we're mature now, and maturity is not always about the age. It's all about the perception, your philosophy. Yeah. So some of the things that we debate about now or disagree about, I wrote a little list.
I'm glad he wrote a little list.
Sweet potato.
Oh, what?
Children's bedtime. Makeup. Weave.
What? Wait!
I ain't finished yet, hold on.
Oh my days.
Working out together.
Oh yeah, okay, that's a big one.
Whispering apologies or saying thank you. Cleaning addictions. Using the family calendar for planning. Failure to make time for family events. Personal time and fellowship. I'll leave it there. Those are a few of the things. You might be like, sweet. Did he start the list with sweet potato? But I'm telling you, and let me let you go. I'll let you go. Then I'll come back.
Well, this is the funniest thing. Now, obviously, you started the list with sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
But arguing about what you eat is a big thing in some people's relationships. You know, my husband really likes sweet potatoes. I like sweet potatoes. I'm not a big fan. Okay.
She prefers the original.
But when you want to start making me eat it every day, it becomes unacceptable. I'm sorry.
Speak the truth, sister.
It becomes unacceptable. So I'm like, oh, can't we just have wipes? Obviously, it's about being on a healthy journey, all that kind of stuff. So with that, I'm like, but why we always gotta eat what you want to eat? Why do we always have to have sweet potatoes? But then I guess, again, because we do communicate, you've brought me to understand the reason why we eat that a lot, because it has less carbohydrates than normal potatoes. So I've come to understand that and accept that. But funny you started listening to sweet potatoes, so you just came to just for why not?
I just, it was just, as we were going through the week, I was just like, look, let me just put a few notes down here. So obviously, like, we debate and we argue. Now, we discussed some of this what we're going to share with you today, and I want us to open it up with this.
Yeah.
One of the keys, I spoke about communication, and people are like, yeah, but that just means talking. It doesn't mean talking. It means having an alignment. Yeah. So we spoke about planning last session. We've spoken about so many different aspects of what we feel are important components of a relationship. I want to go to the Bible really quickly.
Yeah.
James 4:2 says, you desire but you do not have, so you kill. You covet but you cannot get what you want, so you quarrel and fight. You do not have because you do not ask God. And I want to tell you something. One of the major reasons for this lack of communication is pride.
That's true.
Pride.
That's true.
If you're going to get married,
that's so true.
You need to understand unequivocally that there is a degree, an amount, a level of humility you need to implement if you want a successful marriage. What does that mean? It means I was wrong. I apologize. Please forgive me.
I'll think about it.
And if you don't have...
That's pride though, isn't it? I'll think about it.
100%.
100%.
And if you don't have the capacity to apologize, or as Sarah demonstrated, to receive an apology, you have to really consider if the title for 2 streams back was for you. Are you really marriage material?
No, that's true.
Because this humility is paramount.
Yeah.
I talked to you about communication. When I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the godly type of communication that we're called to have between a husband and a wife.
That's right.
And it means I'm willing to put what God has destined and determined as a right actions before my own thoughts and feelings. Early on, we didn't know this. So what we were learning early on is, well, if I don't listen to her, if I don't give her an opportunity, this isn't going to work. So we learnt it from a worldly perspective previously.
Yeah.
As we came into the kingdom and we grew in spirituality, changes set in.
Yeah.
And we had a a greater understanding about the real reasons why we were doing what we were doing and why we were succeeding where we were succeeding. I can't just be preaching to you, baby.
Sorry, I'm just taking this all in.
You was there with me all the time, girl.
I know,
we're doing it all together.
You know the way you're saying it just makes it sound so, romantic.
You're playing. All right.
Read some of the things on the list so I can
some of the arguments. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Let me give you something to jump off on. So, communication's key.
Yes.
What we also need to understand is one of the major things another major thing that helps us, and a major key. One of my mentors years ago helped me. This is where your personal development. I told you about personal development. This is where it comes in. And he said to me, you need to be able to ascertain the difference between a major and a minor.
Yeah.
All right? A major and a minor. Now, if I say I love sex and I say, look, I'm in it for the long haul, and we be arguing about sweet potato, I have to understand when there's an appropriate time to concede.
That's right.
Sweet potato can't come between our covenant.
No.
Sweet potato ain't gonna pay the bills or love my children. We've got to be real here.
It's so true.
So you want to talk about majors and minors? You want to touch a little bit on the humility?
Oh gosh, majors.
Sweet potatoes, children bedtime, makeup, weave, work out together, whispering apologies or thanks, cleaning addiction, etc., etc., etc.
Well, I mean. So for me, obviously, we've really come far.
Come on now.
With how we used to behave.
Absolutely.
Right? It used to be a hot mess. I'm not gonna lie.
Like this video. Share this video, guys. Come on.
I remember one time we had this argument in our old flat, and Grace was about to get to school.
Yeah.
My sister and I were meeting up to do something in the morning, and we just got into this argument, and it was such a horrible argument that I never remember the argument itself, but I remember the action.
You can see it.
That took place, and it was just, it was one of those times. I think that was the last time that we actually ever had such a big, because I think we realised that, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah.
People who love each other are not supposed to get that deep. What could be so bad, guys, what could be so bad could cause a couple to fight, argue, shout, throw things? Do you know what I mean? What could be so bad?
Who's throwing things?
Me, obviously.
Okay, you say that, I'm just like, what did that throw something?
What could be so bad? But then again, it's, a lot of the times when we talk about things on this show, it really makes me think about how people grow up.
Come on now. Come on.
Because I grew up being used to getting my way in a sense.
That's right.
And also, if I said something, it was adhered to, or it was, the advice that was given would be taken on. And you really challenged me in a sense to be like, listen, it's not about you. Okay, there are a few of us involved in this equation.
Yeah.
So whatever tantrum you want to throw right now isn't going to run. And then there's me saying, nah, my tantrum is going to run, and here it is. Here's the whirlwind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you get to a place where you're like, okay, wait. Okay, we're arguing, but it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We're arguing, but nothing's changing. So at some point, you really, for us anyway, we really started to think, well, what could be seriously wrong here?
Yeah.
Why is it that we will argue and it will get so heated that, it gets, so strong. Where I'm just like, you know what? You walk out the door for a bit, and obviously when you walk out the door, I'll be like, "Hey, Zeke," off the balcony, like, come back here.
Some real EastEnders stuff. For those of you who don't know what that is.
No, but the funniest thing is, we would be arguing when you'd go out, alright, I'm going to get some fresh air so that it doesn't get physical or anything, because you used to be really good, you'd exit the scene just to go and calm yourself down. But then I'm there chasing after you, trying to...
I told you I was running from her, And then she grabbed me, she's just trying to tap me, and I'm holding her hands, just like... And you know the funny thing? How can this woman like yay high be jumping like, and she's not afraid? She ain't afraid,
oh my days. You know, but then it's just like there was no wisdom at the time.
Come on, girl. Come on.
There was no wisdom at the time whatsoever. You know, because even now, as you know, even those of you watching, the arguments that you had when you was, 18, 21, whatever, it's different to the arguments you have in your late 30s, your early 40s and going on so on.
I think what you're saying is very key. You have to remember that there are some people who are just kind of entering into that sphere of marriage now at 30 something.
Okay, yeah,
maybe
that's
at late
true.
20s,
That's true.
at early 40s, and I don't want you guys to feel disqualified either, because that is, listen to me, that is the infancy of your marriage.
Yeah.
And depending on where you are on that road of personal development, personal preparation, that in itself could be another challenge as well.
Yeah.
Do you understand that? So let's not, we're not negating you guys.
Oh, no.
Like, there are challenges that you will face in those early stages of marriage, straight after your honeymoon period, that you're going to experience too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so, I mean, just when we was talking, it just made me think that the way I would have argued as a child in my home, around my people, was the same way I was bringing it to you.
That's right.
Talking to you like I'm arguing one of my brothers, or I'm arguing with my sister, or I'm arguing with a friend. There was no disconnection there.
Yeah.
It was just like this just all flows. So I think what I'm trying to say is, you have to get to a place where, with your spouse, you have to realise that your spouse is not your brother, not your sister, not your mum, not your dad, not your cousin, not your co-worker. This is the person that you're living with day to day, you're raising children with, or you've got plans to raise, which way, you're building a future with. So things have to be taken from a completely different approach.
That's right.
But how do we learn to take things from a different approach? Our feelings are our feelings. We spoke about that on 2 or 3 shows back, about the selfishness that comes into marriage when people do not basically talk to each other and sort themselves out. Because there's a lot of self-sorting out that needs to be done. And, like my husband keeps on saying about the communication aspect, the more you talk, the more you begin to understand your partner's communication patterns, the more you begin to understand that, okay, him leaving the scene in a heated argument isn't him leaving you. Because that's what I used to take it as. I used to be like, are you leaving?
That's true.
Do you know what I mean? And like, are you leaving? Blah, blah, blah. But he was dealing with that in his own way. That was his way of dealing with things. And obviously my way of dealing with things was kind of like, oh, come here, let me, like, do you know what I mean? Let me get a bit physical.
Rough you up.
Because I felt like I could handle it. Do you know what I mean?
She means handle me, by the way.
Well, I just felt, so everybody has their own different things. But, I mean, we argued about homeschooling for quite a while.
Yeah. That was
quite a thing for us.
But
because it wasn't really arguing.
Yes, thank you.
Because this is the thing, like you've explained,
we debate. I think for that point you need to make it very clear, because some people may not understand that.
Yes.
So when she says that, it took us quite a while to thrash it out. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, because we don't really argue anymore. For many years, we haven't really argued. Do you know what I mean? But the experiences of our arguments were not nice. So when we got older and we began to build our faith and begin to read our Bibles and begin to understand who we are in Christ and how God expects us to behave and act in marriage.
Preach to me.
You kind of had to start pushing those things aside. Do you know what I'm saying? When you allow the Lord to, really lead you, those selfish parts of you do begin to wither away. And then you begin to see your partner in a better light and say, okay, he's a reflection of God. Would I be chatting to God this way? Kind of thing. So it does kind of wake you up a bit and really begins to shape how you communicate, with one another. And I think that's where we've been able to grow and develop.
100%.
In that aspect.
If I value Sarah and I say, look, you're formed in the image of God.
Yeah.
You are God's creation. You are God's child.
Yeah.
How on earth would I feel comfortable dealing with you in that wretched manner? It's not right. It's not right. And Sarah's is kind of tackling on one of the other areas, I guess, that really have helped us, and that is maybe it was born from the verse of scripture that says, "Don't let the sun go down on your wrath, on your anger." And we've got a greater
quite a lot.
we've got a greater understanding of what that means in its context now.
Yeah.
However, the verse helped us because what we agreed was to finish arguments quickly, to finish arguments on the day.
Yeah. And not have that carry over.
No.
Like, that is one thing Ezekiel and I do not do anymore. We do not allow arguments to carry over to the next day or the day after. Because, I'm sure some of you have experienced, when you and your husband or you and your fiance have had a heated discussion.
Come on.
And, 2 weeks later, people are still rolling eyeballs.
I remember there was a guy I used to work with, and he said to me that, we have our own way of dealing with each other. If she's angry with me, she won't cook. Or if she's angry with him, he'll go and cook, basically. So he'll cook his own dinner just to be like, I can cook for myself, Do you know what I mean? Or I'm not eating your food. And it's like, these are realities of life. These are the way people find to engage and deal with the situations.
Yeah.
But when you start, and this is where communication is key. We start and we're open. Like, we have a naked conversation with each other, not literally naked, but naked in conversation. And then we say to each other, look, you know what? Let's put everything on the table. Let's just bear it all. And I say to you, look, let's make a commitment to be in this marriage for the long term. Yeah. Let's make a commitment not to allow arguments to throw shade on the next day. Do you understand that? And then when you agree those things together fervently, what you're firstly doing is the person who's coming forward essentially is putting down their pride. Yeah. The person who agrees is putting down their pride. Yeah. We're moving together in a successful journey of glorious fellowship. That's what it is.
And even, just to make a point, something Ezekiel and I learned over time was how to, like, in an argument, being in a place where we're having a really heated discussion, to kind of just dead it. Like, you know what, we don't need to be talking about that. Boom. And that was one of the things, like, just when you clock that, wait a minute, is this really
major or minor?
Minor, right? And if it's a major, then no one's going to be listening to each other at that time because everyone's emotions running to and fro.
Come on.
So if it's a major, if you're having a major argument, when you think about what's happening, no one's listening to anyone. So it's just blah, 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 blah. Nothing's going to get resolved. And if it's a minor, okay, so do we really need to be having this kind of thing? But also it's also about being able to know that, okay, so the example that I'm thinking is like sometimes if let's say it's getting heated, and I could just start staring at you and blow a kiss, and you're like, oh, this woman, man, like, no, this is not the time. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like diffusing, finding ways to also diffuse, Powerful. That argument. Because I don't feel no way sometimes when we're going back and forth, like it's really serious, and then I'll just jump on him and like hug him and just, oh babe, I'm sorry, kind of thing. Or we have to begin as couples to be able to be that free with each other, to be able to diffuse the arguments with certain acts of love, certain, different things. It might not be taken so well at the time. Yeah. You might still get pushed off, or, but then you kind of come in again, and it's just kind of saying, hun, wait, what are we really doing? Yeah. Should we be on the fighting side, or should we try to figure out that we should be on the laughing side, get back to how we want to be, kind of thing? So really learning to diffuse is also a very powerful thing. I mean, some people might be hearing that thinking, yeah, but Sarah, when I'm going in, I'm going in. Yeah. Like, I'm ready for him. Do you know what I mean? Or I'm ready for her. Yeah. Like, and a lot of the times, another thing that happens is people ponder on things for so long, and then they just come and go.
They explode.
Do you know what I mean? They just explode.
That's right.
Instead of taking those little steps to, discussing what it is. Yeah. So there are just like so many different. I mean, this topic is it's a really big one, And if you find that in your marriage you are struggling with arguments, you're arguing all the time over, it could be absolutely anything, but these arguments don't make you feel like you're safe in that marriage. okay,
or loved.
you don't feel safe, you don't feel loved, you don't feel secure, okay, then it's definitely something that you guys, you know, as a couple, as a team, you really need to start thinking of ways to work on those things.
Absolutely.
Okay, because, you know, there's a difference between arguing and sorting it out via communication, whichever method, and there's a difference between arguing and just leaving it.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, Says made a point. Just continue,
No,
sir.
because sometimes when people just leave it, they think, oh, yo, you know, we've left it.
We'll be okay.
We'll be all right.
It will work itself out.
Right? Nothing's going to work itself out. Okay? Because we have to remember as well, like, we're speaking words into the atmosphere. Okay, when we speak, we're speaking words into the atmosphere. So if you're shouting and cursing in your home, into your atmosphere, into your relationship, you think those words have just gone. No, the person that you're saying this has taken those things in, vice versa. And they are lingering around somewhere in your ecosystem, somewhere in your brain. These words are floating around. So just thinking, oh yeah, well, you know, it's gonna sort itself out. Couple days later, you find yourself doing the same thing, arguing about the same thing, throwing even worse, you know, words to each other. So realistically, it's not really being sorted out, you know. So brushing under the carpet isn't good. Brushing things under the carpet isn't good.
That's so powerful. And you know, it's a funny thing that Sarah raises that, because there are times where you need to complete the conversation, like we said just now. Like, we like to close things out on the day. We don't like to let things carry on beyond the day, because when you sleep on it, you fester and you think too much and you carry on some assumptions that are not generally true. That breeds more of this pride. That breeds more of these challenges. So you have to know when it's a major. Certain times you need to get to a juncture where you can be like, okay, you know what? I don't think it's conducive for us to continue this, but I really want us to progress. Can we have this discussion tomorrow and just really get through it? I apologize, but we need some strategy work here to get us through the situation. That's sometimes. Other times it's just like Sarah said earlier on, I need some fresh air, I need a break. I don't think I can continue this conversation now. You have to walk away, because you can tell, you can sense, you know your partner, and you know when things are going to escalate.
Even sometimes what we've done is we've paused on the argument and gone, we're going to check in with our accountability partner.
Come on now.
Right? Because at that point we're like, let's bring in a third party. Okay? And even sometimes that third party can turn around and be like, you're both wrong.
And that's the good side of having accountability.
And you get that accurate judgment kind of thing. You get to see the other couple's perspective on what you guys are arguing about and discussing. Hence why we always say every marriage should have an accountability partner.
That's right.
Because when you find that you're arguing over the children, you're arguing over your in-laws, you're arguing over what car you're buying. Even remember, I was even saying about how, one person might be trying to sort out the finances and the other person just wants to go and get a new credit card.
Yep.
And it's like, what are you doing?
And now listen, many of these arguments, I spoke about pride. Thank you so much. We spoke about pride. We spoke about all these things. And when you think about what Sarah just said then, these things all come down to your plan. She mentioned it earlier on. Your plan.
Yeah.
If you don't have a plan, if you're not united, if there is no vision, you're going to have these constant contentions. If Sarah made a point when I spoke about sweet potatoes, she knows we're on a health journey. She knows one of our longer term plans is to remain into our old age in the best shape of our lives. It's not for us to become old and decrepit. I don't want to be one of those kind of old, I want to go there with kind of zeal, with the grace of God.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know what I'm saying? That's our vision.
That's our vision.
I said it so many times. I want my children's children to kind of see me, and I want to enjoy them.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy them. So that means making a concerted choice to say, you know what, we're going to work this out.
Yeah.
We're going to plan this out, and we're going to walk it out.
Yeah.
And when you talk about things like this now, it really comes down to the failure to focus on being united. Someone wants a credit card, but someone else said, we're cancelling our debt. So now immediately they get that because they may have some good credit and they may want something, they may be lusting or desiring something. Automatically,
throws that relationship how back?
And the plans go back.
Yeah.
You go back, and then it's now, we need to work through this again. We need to work through this again. So communication is paramount. You've got a plan, you've got to strategize, but you've got to communicate. If we do not communicate, these are the kind of challenges, the loggerheads that we find ourselves in constantly. And if it's not a credit card, it will be something else or something else or something else. Powerful stuff. I want you to take something away from what Sarah said. You know, sometimes when you're in an argument, we're talking about the majors and minors, you need to break things off into small enough and manageable enough chunks. Not every argument is a time to talk about everything. So one of the ways we do that, again, early on we said, whatever's disturbing you, whatever's concerning you, bring it quickly. Bring it to me immediately. So she'd bring the small things. I would take the small things to her very quickly. I felt aware about this. You know, you remember you did that, and just now, earlier on. Sometimes when we grow, it takes some time. So you may not be able to do it straight away. It may be, and when we're saying bring these things, it's not bring the heat. I'm not saying bring the heat.
Bring this issue.
In love.
Bring the issue.
In love.
Bring the issue.
So it's like, I might say to you, it says, you know, the way you fried that sweet potato.
Oh, babe, stop talking about sweet potatoes, man. Talk about something serious. Oh my gosh.
I wasn't a massive fan of it, basically. And I could say it in the moment, or I could fester and be like, this sweet potato. I could be eating this sweet potato. Just like, you know, and then leave there and be like, why this woman? And you start to play these things on your mind, and they brew. And then as you continue like that, what you don't understand is that, watch me now, the spiritual side of things begins to fuel the drama.
That's because you get some clear.
Come on, because a lot of the time, we think that these things are just natural arguments. I don't like this, you don't like that. Sarah, look, listen, hope you guys are following the conversation. Share this video, like this video. Come on now, remember what we said? Use some of those hashtags on the beginning. But marriage for life, marriage matters. One of the challenges is this: we take into our marriage what we were trained with, what we take into our home of marriage, what we were trained with and groomed and grew up with in our childhood home, in our family home. And what you need to understand is there are spiritual things that grow in a family home. And if you've observed your family structure, or you've matured and you're looking back and you say, hold on, this isn't a healthy family structure. There are certain spiritual characteristics here. I'm not trying to be spooky. I just want you guys to understand what I mean. I'm being serious. All of us are spirits. We're all spirits. Do you understand that? And we have a spiritual nature. So anger, we can classify that as a spirit. Rage, wrath, those things. You can classify those as spirits. And if in your house when you were younger, you were always spoilt, which fostered the kind of maybe a lust to be able to have whatever you want, and this pride that I can say whatever I want and do whatever I want, you now can bring that lust and that pride into your home. If you saw a lot of anger and rage when you were at home, in your family home, you can bring those spirits in. There's a spiritual side, and I'm not trying to be spooky for those of you who may not be Christians, may not be believers, but what I want you to understand is, I'll put it in a more plainer sense for some of you to understand that more palatable for you. There's a subconscious side. There's a side that isn't you dictating, but there's a side that drives. You know, they say the conscious mind is the thinking mind. The subconscious mind is the mind that works in the automatic in the background. So if you want to use that for an image, and I want to say to you that's almost how the spirit, it likens and mirrors the spiritual realm. I do what I want, I say what I want, yet there are some motivating factors that can actually push you. So we need to be very, very careful, because there are things coming with us from our family home.
That's right.
And we need to be able to, we need to be awake enough and to be able to challenge those things and ensure that they don't begin to take shape and take form in our marital home.
Yeah, because even as well, I mean, sometimes there are people who, I'll say people, like, someone might have a spouse who just does not want to engage in heated discussions. Now, not because somebody doesn't want to engage in heated discussion means that they're not festering anger.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, they're going to express that in a completely different way. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's why it is important for, couples, regardless of if your husband's a talker or he's not a talker, if your wife's, a chatterbox or she's not a chatterbox, communication, just being able to, because if someone, for me, it's as simple as this. If someone's not talking to their spouse, they're talking to someone else.
That's the truth.
Okay? If you're not discussing each other with each other, 100% you're discussing each other with someone else.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
And what that does is adds third parties into the relationship that are not welcome.
Have no place being there.
Okay? I mean,
more time.
If let's just say, if I say to you, I'm going to talk to ABC about what's going on.
That's right.
I've told you who I'm talking
right.
about. And then you might be like, no, what are you talking to that person for? You might not want me talking to that person.
Right.
However, if I just disregard that and just go and start telling ABC what's happening, the big argument that we have, now you don't know if that person's influencing me positively or negatively. And that's already a big problem.
Yeah, it undermines, going outside undermines the relationship at home.
That's
it undermines it, and you need to be very, very careful with that. That's how trust issues start to come in on both sides, not just the side of the person who may have done the wrong, but when you're going out and you're talking, in your mind, trust is shifting now. You're now saying, okay, maybe I can trust this person I'm talking to talk to them about things, and then it shifts to, well, I can trust this person to take on board their advice because I can talk to them about that. We need to be very careful. Thank you. That's powerful. That's powerful.
Definitely. Yeah. So I mean, I can't even remember what was the point you were making again.
Look, we're talking about
things being spiritual and opening up, and obviously from the childhood and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely,
right.
Absolutely. It was your point from earlier when I was bringing back in. No, it's fine. It's fine. And even on that very note there, the point of trust in that. So this is why collectively, as a couple, you need a structure and a plan for your relationship. You need a vision and goals for your relationship. For those of you who are courting and are not yet married, those of you who are thinking about marriage in the future, you need your own personal development plan. What do I want for the future? You know why? Two people with a personal development plan respectively come together and they have a vision for life. They have a family vision for life. You sit down, you can discuss those things and build the future out together.
Yeah.
What I want to say is, having an accountability couple is key.
Yeah, we can't keep batting on about that.
And one that you're both comfortable with.
Yeah, of course.
Because what that means is, as Sarah said, now, if I need to talk to somebody, I know who to go to. If she needs to talk to somebody and she knows who to go to. And let me kind of, we'll shed a little light on this. You don't go to accountability couples by yourself.
Yeah, no.
That's not the model that we follow.
No.
All right? So it's not, I'm going to go and I'm going to talk and she's going to go. Essentially what we do is we set a date, find with them, and we go with them. Do you know why? There's two sides to every coin.
That's right.
Do you understand that?
That's
so if
right.
I go and I tell my story, then Sarah goes another time and tells her story. It's not always a clear cut. But we need to be cordial enough to be able to sit together and say, no, this is the situation. This is the scenario. Oh, no, that didn't quite happen. Oh, then Sarah might say, oh, no, it was like this. And I say, okay, you're right. I was mistaken about that. And you get the full picture. You know why? Because you are one.
And a lot of the times during the arguments, people are so emotional. They don't know what, let's be honest, right? Let's just be so honest. You're having an argument with your husband. You're having an argument with your wife. You're both saying so many different things. When you stop and someone says, okay, tell me what happened.
Yep.
It's even hard to even reiterate what happened.
Yeah.
Because the things that are being said are not, being held in the mind in a sense. They're just, it's emotional. It's emotional.
I guess it depends on who you are, but
you're right.
Yeah,
because there are some people that remember every word from an argument.
Yeah. I guess it depends.
So anyway, but for me, it's one of those things where that's why it is good to sit down with another couple and be like, look, this is what was said, blah, 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 blah. Because then even when you're saying it to someone else, you begin to go, oh, wait a minute.
That's right.
Oh, okay. And you can, at that point, you can even begin to see where it went wrong, where you went wrong.
That's right.
As the person where you went wrong, what how you instigated or how you didn't instigate or how you took it on board, and was it really necessary to just be like and a lot of the times when we look at arguments, okay, I saw a comment here from Amy. She says household chores is our number one.
And that's a reality. And did we not have that issue?
And I was going to say, because I even want us to talk about how we resolve
all right, we'll come there.
certain things. Do you know what I'm saying? Things like household chores, you would just expect, it to be a thing of where...
Common sense.
Honey, you know, you're washing up today, I'm washing up tomorrow, or whatever negotiations.
You wash up for life. I'll never touch a dish.
Hey.
You know, some houses, isn't it? I mean,
you know, but these are real issues.
That's right.
You know, and arguments don't just have to be big, like, you know, some people are trying to think of, what was it's deep. No, for a lot of people, it is things that are their day to day.
Absolutely.
Their day to day. You know, sometimes it's like, you know, my husband came up with this thing where, to make life easier regarding driving, for us to not, you know, nitpick at who's driving what and where anymore.
So the cars, we're both insured on our cars. So that means if we both hop into the car, we both have the capacity to drive. Yeah. I'm just saying, just to lay the plane.
That's fine. And he came up with this thing where it's, if one person drives going, the other person drives coming back. And it's just as simple as that now. And now there's no more, you take the key. No, you take the key, and the key's just flying.
So the game now is to hit the game. Who gets to the car the fastest? So obviously, if we're going out and you know you don't want to drive back, it might be a late one back. Yeah. You may jet to the car first. I'm sitting here waiting for you, baby.
And the other person who gets to the car last can't say anything because those are the rules.
And we've agreed. Like, we agreed. It's not. I don't want you to think it was a dictatorship. This is what's going to happen.
No, this is an agreement.
I threw it out there. It was my idea. I threw it out there.
And I was like, all right, cool. This could work.
Because we got to a point where it was like, you drive, I drive, you drive, I drive, you drive, and it was just like.
And then it would be like, see, I'm always driving, because like I said, it could just be the small. Sometimes it is small things that causes a bit of a problem, you know. And it's just like you start getting like, why am I the one always driving? Am I your driver? Blah 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 blah. You know, and those things can really cause issues,
big time. And one of the things, just on that note, now, so we've got a precedent that's set. One of the powerful things is this. I may drive out, then I may say, do you want me to drive back?
Yeah, and then the option is now there. And when he does drive back, he chose to drive back.
And she's appreciative. Very appreciative. That I drove back on her turn.
So these are definitely like ways to really, resolve certain things. Begin to talk about, what are the main things that you are arguing about as a couple? And whatever these main things are, we need to sit down and really look at them and begin to find ways to resolve this, so that this isn't something that next year, and it's ongoing.
Come on.
Then the children now grow up, and then they now start seeing mummy and daddy arguing over certain things, and then they take that into their relationship, because
let's go.
We are all products of our environment. Okay, so I mean, even arguing in front of the children.
All right.
That is something that is like a big no-no. Okay, I mean, we used to just the babies are there, just arguing anyhow. Yeah. But we got to the point where it was just like, when they go to bed,
I will deal with you.
Going to just enter into this situation.
And what's powerful about that is even the children now know, and if we may be on the verge of something, like, it's odd to them.
Yes.
And they're kind of like, and maybe even a Grace older one will be like, really? And then boom, like, we're like, okay, we catch ourselves.
Yeah.
So,
and even the little ones, they'll be like, Mum and Dad, you're shouting. And we're like, oh, thank you.
So it's like, what you're doing is you're cultivating an environment that is actually helping you to grow.
Yes.
Helping you to develop in the right direction.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to say one more point on this, and then we're going to go straight into the comments. I know we've been here for a little while now. So I want you to think about a few things. I want to challenge you. So I spoke to you on the outset. So those of you who are interested in that free marriage strategy call, it's only one person, one couple is going to get it. So follow the instructions at the top end of the video. But what I want you to do is this is a challenge for everybody. I want you to ask yourself, firstly, primarily, if you're watching this with your, try and watch this with your spouse. Watch these together. So I want you to ask your spouse, how long can we go without an argument? How long can we go without an argument? Let's see. If it's a big deal, a big issue for you, challenge yourselves, right? Work together as a team and make it a team effort. So some of the things I want you to think about, we've discussed them today. Determine the difference between what majors and minors are. So get a piece of paper and think about, said it, write down the top 5 things you argue about the most. And then ask yourself, is this a major or a minor? Is this issue really going to have significance a year from now, 6 months from now, a month from now, a week from now? Ask yourself, look at that on like, how will I feel about this in a week, in a month, in a year? Think about those kind of things there.
Yeah.
I want you guys to challenge yourselves to close it out quickly. I said it maybe the first or second stream we had. One of the powerful things that we learned to do is to forgive fast. We forgive fast. And it's a good practice that we implement. It's a good practice we train our children to do. So you don't take things to heart that way. You don't kind of fester this resentment, this pain, and you don't let those things grow up into spiritual issues. So give up, forgive fast. So don't sleep on it. Do your best not to sleep on it. Air it out quickly. And the challenge is, how long can you go without an argument? I know some people think no relationship can exist without arguments, but the reality is you can get better and better and better and better, and you can improve day by day to the point where you're like, when did we actually argue last? I don't remember. Okay, let's go into the comments.
Yes. Okay, so we had lots of greetings. Yes, Amy, hashtag marriage for life.
Come on now.
Good evening, all. Says Miss I Can Win. Ecosmia says hi at Stells. We got good audio. Stell says, getting drawn out, sis. I was. T-Can.
Just keeping it real.
Laughing. Ecosmia's break. Anyway. I'm glad you lot. I'm really glad you lot got to hear that, because that was like, I was like, what is that? What do you mean a break? Are we not in a relationship? What does that mean? Like, you're going for tea break? What was it?
Let's not even go into that, babe.
Please, I was like, please, got all ghetto on him. As you all heard, I can we say sweet potatoes. Sorry. Too funny. Pastor Chris says, preach on, Pastor.
Praise the Lord.
And then Stel says, you too, yeah? And then Ecosmu says, it's funny how we can have the biggest blowouts over the smallest things. And Stel says, for real? Ecosmu says, to the extent years later we don't remember the reasons for that fight.
That's right.
But remember the fight.
That's right.
Yes. Hey, Ecosmu has called me out.
Tell me.
She said,
I'm not getting the comments here.
Oh my days, I love that. Stelza says, I was just about to say some serious EastEnders moments. Yeah, there was, there was.
100%.
There was.
Like you won't believe. Like you wouldn't believe.
Ecosmu says, sitting and suckling for days on ends about an argument is not productive at all.
No, it's not good use of your time. It's not good use of your energy, and it doesn't bode for a successful relationship over the long term. Yeah. So we need to, that is such a powerful way to put it, and you need to think about that every day. Personal development plans help you do this. Having a sober mindset towards life helps you do this. Yeah. You need to be focused on, what am I doing with my day today? If you've got 24 golden hours, what are you doing with them? Many of them you used to sleep. Yeah. So what are the other, how do you harness more gold during the day? Sitting and festering, unforgiveness, anger, lust, those things, sinful natures, those things do not help. So that's a powerful point. Let me read from your screen.
Yeah, I mean, I was even going to say as well, I feel like a lot of couples also entertain other people's issues, and those become arguments in their relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like extended families, it could be a comment someone's mother made, that one of the in-laws made. It could be a comment one of the a good friend made.
Yeah, father-in-law.
Or just a friend, they're out and whatever, and a friend makes a comment, and then that then turns into an argument with the couple. And a lot of the times, you really have to stop to think, okay, is someone's opinion, someone's issue really that important that we're going to, have this out for days on ends? Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, we really got to the point where we really, it was kind of like, we love people, but their opinions don't really matter.
The real big picture on that,
to some degree.
What she said was right. The big picture on that is that's how we started our relationship. And I think that's what was successful. Maybe one day we'll talk about it, but I think we shared a bit of it before. But there were 3 guiding principles we started our relationship with, and we were young. And one of those was it's we would never let anybody else come between us. Yeah. And we started the relationship out that way. So if somebody says something to you about me, if someone says something to me about you, we come to each other and have it out. Yeah. And hopefully don't end up rolling on the floor.
Oh, we don't on the floor.
T-Can, finish off arguments quickly, don't have all day. And that's the truth. That's the truth. It's like we don't have time. We should be developing love, raising our children, developing each other. And this is one of the key things. The enemy desires for us to tear each other down, to build insecurities within our spouse and our partner. God desires for us to build each other up, enrich each other, so that we can go forward and be a light, that other people, other relationships, our environments can be blessed. If we're busy tackling each other, tearing each other down, how on earth do we go out and complete the mandate we're called to complete?
Even it's funny, something just came to me about couples being able to develop their communication, their discussion skills, by literally just bringing up topics to talk about.
Come on.
Okay, bringing just raising a topic to talk about. Sometimes I say to my husband, "Oh, honey, what does this mean?" You know, I might have seen something, and you know, he'll go into explaining it, and then from there we end up, you know, having a bit more of a discussion about it and things like that. And it's not to say I feel like a 5-year-old asking him a question. It's a genuine question I'm asking him, and he's actually willing to, answer that question. And then that builds a communication. We go back and forth. Even just general discussions, like, what's your opinion on A? Things like that, to be able to really begin to develop those communications, because that will then help so when you get into an into a point of arguing, you're not seeing it as an argument, you're seeing it more as a discussion. We're discussing something we don't agree on, so we're not going to let it go to a place where things are rocky, things are absolutely shaky. We have discussions all the time, so this is just another discussion. This is something, so okay, well, we're not really agreeing here, so all right, let's just leave that
and come back and address it another time, because it's a minor and not a major.
Right? So I thought I'd share
Powerful.
that.
Thank you so much. T-Can, good comment there. Mrs. I Can Win says, Mrs. I Can Win, exactly in that word. Let not the sun go down on your anger. Absolutely. Agree with that. Thank you, brother. Good to see you on the stream. But Ecosmo says, but people have a plan and things come up. Exceptions get made. How do you decide what are valid exceptions when one party thinks it's okay and the other doesn't? This is powerful.
Yes.
And there are so many layers to this. If I had a specific example, I could tackle it. But I'd say it to you like this: we have macro issues, we have minor issues. I said it already. Macro issues pertain to what goes on for the long term of our life. I make a decision today that's going to affect our children. I'll make a decision today that's going to affect our finances, that might affect our living situation, that might affect our spirituality. That's a macro decision that affects a lot of things along the way. We need to be very mindful of that. So when we find ourselves in a situation where, and I don't know if you're talking about compromise, maybe that's what we're talking about. So
Read it again?
She says, but people have a plan and things come up. Exceptions get made. How do you decide what are valid exceptions when one party thinks it's okay and the other doesn't? Thank you. Okay, I got you. I've got you. Right. So we spoke 2 weeks back about leadership.
Like that compromising sort of thing.
We spoke about leadership.
Us to discuss that
so we've got a plan, we've got a vision. We're going somewhere. This is where we're going. This is where we believe God is taking us, or God has given us the grace to go. So we start walking down that road. The plan changes. We said this, I think last stream was about that. Plans change, and that's not a problem at all if they adhere to our greater goal, the greater good. If Sarah said to me today, you know what, we're moving to Africa and I've decided I don't want any more children. We'd have to have some deep, meaningful discussions about that. Moving to Africa today means uprooting the family, finding new means of income, finding somewhere to stay. There's a lot of things that go into it. And if our long-term plan was to be here, we need to address that. But fundamentally, and this isn't about kind of being like a tyrannical ruler, but there is a leadership. We spoke about the driver and the navigator, the driver and the passenger. And it's very important for us to understand very, very clearly who is leading, who is supporting, and in what capacities. In our house, let me tell you something. There are certain things that Sarah is governor over. We've discussed this and I've said, Sarah, you're governing this. This is you. Like, she may come to me for counsel. We may discuss it, but it's her baby. That's her situation. And she may not expect me to come in and say left, right. That's just the realities of life. So I think it really comes down to, what are your core values? We've discussed this. What is your worldview? And what does this exception mean to the long-term vision that you've established? Imagine someone now says, you know what? I want to break. this is now an exception. I know what we've said. I know what we've decided, but I don't want it anymore. We now need to begin to discuss and to dig deep and really converse about where did this come from? Why are you saying that? What do you want to break from? Where are you breaking to? What is like? Do you understand?
Exactly.
We need to really go in, and this
Answer
is why
the real hard questions.
and this is why communication.
Where are you breaking to?
And this is why communication is really, really powerful, because having the ability to communicate and discuss these things as mature adults helps us to, as Sarah said, come to resolutions. It's a poor thing to have a discussion and no resolution. One thing you need to, I'll say this really quickly. Arguing with no end point, no destination is utter foolishness. And when you're, see, Sarah said it earlier on, when you're in the midst of this argument and you catch yourself and you're like, hold on, like, are we just shouting? Right. What is my point here?
Yep.
You need to withdraw very quickly.
Yeah.
Because so many of you have said it's a waste of time. I've got better things to do with my day. It's wasting your marriage. It's a wasting away at your marriage. It's very 100%. Important that we understand that. 100%. We are to build places of security and safety. I should feel safe talking to Sarah about the deep things in my heart. She should feel confident to come to me and share with me the deep things on her mind and her heart. And if we don't build those places, whenever we're going against that, we're arguing, we're tearing down. I don't believe in that. And we call each other names. Don't call your spouse names. When you do that, you're creating a place of insecurity, instability, and you're tearing down what God has given you the grace to build up. You want to say something? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Oh, wow. Just such a powerful point you made there. I was just going to say that a lot of the times, you know, when people argue or when couples argue, they make it as if everything should just pause. Everything should pause. You don't eat together. You don't watch together. You don't make love because you're arguing. All these kind of, you know, fictional behaviors come into play. Okay, because again, where do we see these things? Where did we figure out? Oh, because you're arguing means you don't talk, means you don't laugh, means you don't bust jokes.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me. All that kind of stuff. Where did that come from? You know, these things are obviously they're all implanted into us from somewhere.
My sister.
So one thing that I always say, listen, your spouse is the most important person on the planet to you. Okay, other than your children. Right, so for me, there should be nothing.
I'll tackle you, but I'll leave that until later. Other than your children, we'll tackle it later. Go on.
There should be nothing that comes that should stop you from still expressing love to your partner, to your spouse, regardless of what arguments you're having. And that's something that I feel strongly about. Even if me and Zeke were arguing, I still don't, you know, stop showing you love, showing you affection. I might still come and just like, you know, rub you or whatever. And obviously you're kind of just like, what you doing? And I'm just like, oh, hello. Accept it.
We cool.
We go. Do you know what I'm saying? But again, obviously that's part of the whole diffusing thing that I was talking about as well. Making your husband or your wife understand that even though, you know, this heated discussion is happening, this doesn't mean that things have changed between the two of you. It doesn't mean anything's changed between the two of you. But it only changes when it's not being resolved day in, day out. And, you know, it's just getting worse and worse. Okay. So for me, being able to, even when you feel like, you know, that it's getting really, really tough, sometimes just pushing past that barrier, you know, helps the situation, because it can soften somebody who isn't in willing to talk to actually talk. The person who isn't willing to share and open up their heart, how are you going to get someone to open up? How are you going to get your spouse to open up to you if you're not showing them that they can? If you're not showing them that, look, this is a safe zone, honey, this is a safe zone. Yes, I know, you know, we're fighting and I know we're arguing, but this is still our safe zone. Do you know what I'm saying? I really feel like people need to begin to understand that arguments, heated discussions should not push love out of the door, and love shouldn't have to wait, and that expressions of emotion shouldn't have to wait until that is resolved. A lot of the times you'll find that if you don't do this and you begin to do this, it makes your life a lot easier. It opens up your relationship to so much more. Because when you think about why are people getting divorced? Why are marriages breaking down? Marriages are breaking down. A lot of the times you hear that stupid phrase, I don't love him anymore. I don't love her anymore. What does that even mean?
Yeah. We spoke about that. Falling in and out of love. Go back and check the video if you haven't watched it already.
So a lot of the time divorce is taking place because people are, they allow the arguments and the disconnection to push the love away, so they move further and further and further and further apart.
That's right.
But can you imagine, let's just say you're arguing about what route to take. And you say to your husband, "Hun, take this route. It's a better route." And your husband's like, "But babes, like I drive this route all the time. Let me take this route." And you're just like, "Just take the route I asked the man." Do you know what I mean? Just take the route I asked you to take. And it's like, "No, you don't tell me what route to take. I know, I'm driving." At that point, imagine when your husband's throwing off and you just rub his hands on that gearbox. And it's just like, "Huh? What's she doing?" Diffused. Do you see what I'm saying?
She sound like a master of diffusion, don't she?
Do you know what I'm saying? You really have to, because for me, it's about knowing your husband and knowing your wife and being able to speak to them in many different communication with, many different language of love, affection, that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Powerful. Knowing your spouse is so key. And as Cez was talking, something that really occurred to me. When we permit these spiritual dispositions to come between us, we're actually inviting spirits into our relationship. Listen, I can't go into this now, but just hear me out for a minute. Just hear me out just for a moment. Listen, you love each other, you're going somewhere, then you get angry. Not only do you get angry, but you begin to resent something. Anger morphs into resentment. Ooh. Anger and resentment, listen, they begin to talk to you, and they're like, "No, she don't deserve it. No, he ain't getting that." And they begin to talk, and that conversation, listen to me, it's not your husband, it's not your wife or husband, it's not your spouse talking to you. And we could say for greater or lesser degree, it's not you speaking. You begin to hear something that says something else negative to you. What you've done is you've permitted something you can't see, an experience, and call it emotion if you want, but it's a spiritual entity to come in between you and block you from engaging. What Sarah's talking about, she talks about this diffusion. She's saying, look, allow the love of Christ, allow the love of God, allow agape, that is the love that they may not even deserve, to say, "Honey, can you kiss me right now?" And
imagine that, man.
Listen, those kind of things really break down the barriers of pride.
It does. Listen. If you're not doing this, I really think it's something that you should begin to try. Try it out. Try it out.
Just be careful. Obviously, I know not every relationship's like that. Especially of the way we are as well. Especially, I can be very kind of like, unaffectionate. Is that right? At times. Nice. Yeah. So at times, and I know people who are very much like that. And as Sarah said, I don't use that phrase. I'll never use that phrase, actually, to be fair to you. But I want my personal space.
Oh yeah, no.
But I know people who are like that, and it's just like, look, I need some me time. I need some space. Do you know what I mean? So,
but that's generally when it gets past the point of.
No, but I'm just. My point is, so be careful with the using physical touch, the love language of physical touch, as a point of diffusion. It
could be anything. It could be, can I get you a drink?
And so we need to share that.
What do you want? It could be anything. It could be, let's get a drink, babe. It could be anything. Because what then happens is, when all that emotion that is sparking up and down, from there it just kind of goes whoosh. A drink? But I'm trying to talk to you about something else. I know you're trying to talk to me about something else. But as you can see, this conversation is not going anywhere. So let's just go and have a drink.
That's right.
Do you know what I'm saying? And then
she's talking about Coca-Cola, by the way.
I am.
Oh, sorry, I meant juice.
I just meant water, whatever. Juice, some people might want a glass of wine. I don't know. Hey. But anyway, so for that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. But because I really think it's a tool that it's a skill that I don't think a lot of people have learned.
That's right. They don't apply it a lot.
So it will be difficult, especially if people are not used to this, because people don't see this in the movies. They don't see that kind of diffusion in the movies. They might not have seen it growing up. It's always, no, you argue, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you figure a way to sort it out. And then after you sorted out your arguments, then we can take it to the next level, which is, okay, let's go and get something to eat, or let's go and whatever it may be. So that's what I'm saying.
All right, back to the comments. Thank you so much, Sarah. That was powerful, powerful, powerful. That's right. Vanessa Uwe says, Ami Ezabo says, household chores is our number one. I think you addressed that.
Yeah.
And just quickly to tackle it, what we did when we were faced with this issue of household chores, I just said, you know what? We're making a rota. And you might see this in some places. And some people might say, my parents never had a rota. We've not grown up. Well, what is a rota? Things. Listen, order is what is required to make a house operate. Order is what is required to make a marriage operate. If you order, and listen, if there was no order on the roads outside, the cars would be crashing, no one would wait at traffic lights. Order is what makes it work. When you want to get married, you know what you do? You need a marriage license. It's called order, organization. Add some order into the structure. We had to do it. It was a challenge. People didn't want to do their chores. Even till today, I said to them, look, every area of the house needs a project manager. When you finish your chores, make sure you check in with your PM to make sure everything's okay. People are laughing,
I'm just like, no, let me just get on with it.
And these are things that need to be done, because if we do this, it helps us go forward. And not everything needs to be as elaborate as that, but it can just be, you know what, 2 days of the week, person A does this, 2 days of the week, person B does this, and we'll rotate for the rest of the time.
And it helps to lighten the load, because obviously one person can't carry the load of everything the house and still expect to work and still expect to look after the kids. So all of that, and I really feel like, you know, when couples begin to implement things like rotas, it helps the partner who is doing most of the work to feel help. They start feeling help, they start feeling love, they start feeling appreciated, and then the other person can actually begin to see how much work it's been for the other person. So throwing in rotas in your house, and even if you do have small children and it is literally just you and your husband, do it, throw it in. You know, if it's whatever it may be, just rotate. It's a rota, rotate.
The children benefit from seeing this order as well. If they see it, that structure helps them. There's order, seasons all over life. If they can see it at home, they can implement it outside. Very powerful. And
also with the rotas, a lot, and they're never too young to have something to do in the house.
That's right.
Something. Our 3-year-old, he does the shoe rack.
That's right.
And cleans the dinner table.
Very involved.
You know?
Involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Powerful. Tikan says, how long can you go without an argument? That question alone will start an argument.
I love that.
You know what? So it's how you phrase it. And even I was gonna say that about the whole rota. Don't go home and be like, so now you're watching Marriage Matters on your mobile phone. As you're doing it, you start writing down the chores. This is a chore list. You go to your partner and you say, look, this is what we're doing.
It must be discussed.
We need to discuss these things. So even before you come out and be like, all right, cool, how long can we go for without an argument? We need to talk about it, babes. Do we argue or not?
Yes, discuss.
You need to start. You need to talk, and then from the talk, you mature to that. Even if that's what you've got in mind, you mature there gently. We've got laughing faces from Mrs. I Can Win, E Cosmios, and in that word at T-Can. They're really enjoying that. Stels. In that word, do not start another argument. Absolutely. E Cosmios. She's laughing at T-Can. Thank you, T-Can, for that comment. It was great. Mrs. I Can Win. It's only when I distance myself from a certain someone in my life that I experience what it was like to not argue with my husband. It is possible and it is wonderful. This is what I'm saying to you.
That one gets a click.
Listen.
Oh my days, that one gets a click.
I'm not even going to go into it deeply.
Spiritual thing.
But what Sarah said earlier on, Sarah spoke about the influences from outside. You must make a determination. This is one of the reasons why it's good to have a journal as well. But that's for another video.
Come on,
people. When you are in different environments, you go to someone's house, you're fellowshipping with someone, you have family gatherings with someone, and you notice that in that environment, maybe leading into that environment, and at times after that environment, there's tension. You need to pray and evaluate. You need to pray and evaluate, because what happens is sometimes it's an open verbal thing. People are saying things and they're sowing seeds, and in that environment you begin to feel uncomfortable. Your spouse may feel uncomfortable, and you can sense it. You may go home and it continues. It overflows. We need to be very careful about our environment. Our marriages, just as the scripture says about our hearts, need to be safeguarded, protected. It's very important.
And that is such an important one, because our main source of influence, those that are, that influence us the most, also have influence in our relationships. They do, just different things, different statements, comments, words, impressions, all these different things, or even just trying to make people notice certain things about this, but I was like, why is he always doing this? And you're like, he's always doing that. Even you don't even realise you're someone. Then someone will be like, oh, why is she always? She is. That sows a seed.
Yes.
And then that seed can then germinate, and then before you know it,
contention.
Belly up. Be careful. Thank you, Mrs. I Can Win. That was a powerful point.
Within the confines of your accountability couple, those things are safe. Outside of those confines, those things are not so safe, especially when you're not talking about it directly with your spouse. Yeah. Mrs. I Can Win says, heated discussions, yes, but arguments, nay. I agree with that 100%. Mr. Osai Kimwin says, even fights is for silly couples. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We appreciate you being here on the live stream today. Very, very key point. We've said it already so many times. Fighting within couples, it doesn't make sense. It's nonsensical. Sarah says it's foolish. We've agreed that. Sarah said it lacks wisdom. I've said it's foolishness. We have to take note of that, guys. Tikan says silence the outside demons' voices. Silence the outside demons' voices. And look, yes. There's nothing else for me to even say on that.
Yes, Tikan.
Stelz.
Got you.
Stelz. Security and safety. Yes, bro. And it's the truth. This is what we need to do. And a lot of people think, oh, the man is the one who brings the security. There is an aspect, but there's also security with the wife prepares for the husband. I should be able to talk to her. My wives, I'm talking to my sisters out there. We need to prepare places where my brothers, your husbands, don't feel like they're being torn down, belittled, or made to feel a fool when they bring issues to you. You want them to bring issues to you as their wife before they take it to someone else. Right. You're there as their helpmate, as a partner. You two are a unit and a team together. So I thank you so much for appreciating that. Cosmios, when you're sleeping on the seam of the mattress, almost falling off because of soaking, smiling, she's laughing hysterically. And it's the truth. These are some of the things that we put ourselves through foolishly. Why am I going to sleep on the edge of the bed that we use our money to pay for because something happened and I'm not at peace with it? I'd rather make peace and enjoy my sleep.
100%.
You want to continue or want me to go?
Oh, keep going.
Tikan, if we're arguing, don't touch me. God's still working on me.
Tikan!
Listen,
I have to meet this person. This one's so funny.
I hear what you're saying.
Oh my God.
I'll put it this way, look.
Is that male or female?
The more
that is so
Sarah wants to know if you're male or female, Tikan.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
The more we mature in our relationship, our spirituality, our relationship with God, the more we can permit the touch. Do you understand that? And it's one of those things. It's just a development thing. Like, with me and says that was me. I was that person. I was just 100%. Like, leave me alone. Come on, allow it. Just stop that. But she is a very maternal. I can't use any other word really. I think it's more fitting. But the way, if you see Sarah with children, if you see Sarah with our children, other people's children, that's the way she is. She's a strong mother figure, and because of that, it kind of some of that nature overflows into our relationship. And I can tell you are not my mum.
I know. He's always like, I'm not your mum. No,
But the reality is,
can't cook for yourself.
But the reality is, we need to be able to get to a space where we can accept, in humility, the work that God is doing in our spouse. Imagine this, Tikan. So your spouse, you're having a beef, and it takes, your spouse is a stubborn one, but they commit to say, I'm gonna apologize first, biting their lip, everything, and they come to you and they're like, I'm sorry, and you're like, don't touch me. God's still dealing with this, and it's like.
I'm just like,
we've got
you at fault.
We've got to look at all sides. And listen, I'm saying these things and we're laughing, but it's not always easy.
It's not
always easy.
It's not.
But this is the price that we pay for successful, strong marriages. We're saying we're gonna work through it.
Yeah.
We're gonna work through it. Yeah. We're gonna work through it.
Yeah. Because as well, sometimes you have people who are very emotional people.
Yes.
Very emotional people. They've been raised very emotionally. They didn't deal with their emotions as they were growing up. Their parents didn't tackle those issues. They just kind of left them to throw tantrums. And then they get into a marriage and they just don't know how to handle their emotions. Yeah. So it's not that they're a terrible person or whatever it may be, but it's just the fact that this over emotion hasn't been dealt with.
That's right.
They haven't been taught how to, you need to be mature with these emotions. You can't just, always expect to be the one to be apologized to, always expect to be the one to, have the last say or whatever it may be. Sometimes people are just so emotional, and they do not know how to deal with themselves from within, that when dealing with their spouse, it just doesn't come out right. And sometimes you've seen things where it's just like, it's just emotional, man. Like the spouse gets up and they don't even care, because it's just like, oh, this is just how she always is. Like, when's she gonna stop behaving like this? But sometimes it's about saying to the spouse, saying to the one who's really emotional, look, every time you get really again, communication.
Listen, it's foundational. It's foundational.
Communication can really help to solidify your marriage. Just taking it, it just takes it to another level.
Yeah, a commitment to communication is a core tool for a successful marriage.
Yeah.
If you've got communication, a commitment to communication on both sides, on one side initially, but on both, if you can get it on both sides, you are on your road to winning.
Yes.
You're on your road to winning.
Yes.
Because if you can talk through anything, listen, you can walk through anything.
Yes.
I'm telling you that now. It's very, very important.
And if you've got communication down to a T, leave it in the comments below. Say #communication.
Come on. Committed to communication.
Committed to communication. And if you're struggling with communication, say #struggling. Let us know, because it's really important for for us as we do this show to be able to really see the balance of the type of people that we are engaging with as well.
That's right. We want to help, guys. We just want to help.
We really do.
All right, where did we get to? I see Lady Chamingo's in the comments.
I was like, I'm sorry, guys. I was like, where's Lady Chamingo's? I really was.
Okay.
She there? Is she there?
So in that word,
miss you, girl.
In that word says that it's Ecosmios. He's smiling. Miss I can win at Ecosmios. He's laughed. She's laughing.
You start really having fun, having like real laughing
in the comments, innit? You lighting up the comments today. In that word, the husband has not power over his body. The wife had not power. He says has not power over her own body. In that word,
listen,
what is that? Is that kisses?
I just have to say, listen. If you really want to understand the Bible, if you really want to begin to see the Bible for what it really is,
you want to start to walk and live out that Bible life.
Check out In Thy Word.
Yep, he's in the comments.
He's in the comments. Just
click on there. Subscribe to that channel. Subscribe.
Seriously,
like his video. Subscribe to that channel.
Seriously, and he hasn't done anything. I don't know. There's no promo here, but we are.
Yeah, big supporters of his channel. Big supporters of that channel.
His teachings are absolutely amazing.
Sound. You've got sound teaching over there.
Check him out.
All right, Mrs. I Can wins. Fam, Sarah's got skills. Diffuse. They like that. Ecosmios.
You want to learn a thing or two, ladies? Hit me up in my inbox.
Ecosmios says parking. Please, woman, let your husband find his own parking space. Oh my goodness.
I didn't say parking. I said routes. Come on, tell me you've not advised your husband to take a route and he's just been like, oh please, you ain't Google Maps.
I don't know where she's getting this stuff from. I don't know where she's getting these examples from. Yes, Ecosmios says, yes, preach, God life today. Thank you so much for being on the stream. Ecosmios, we appreciate you. Miss I Can win it in that word. Everyone is enjoying the comments, loads of it. Lady Chamingos, I see it. Sometimes we allow the enemy to test us and stir up trouble in our marriages. We have to choose our battles. Absolutely. We've spoken about majors and minors. We've spoken about this chunking down your arguments. We've spoken about walking away. These things are key. And as she said there, it's so important. You've got to be mindful. The word that she used I want to talk about here is the battle. There is a battle against your marriage. You know what she said there? She said the enemy. There is an enemy and this is a battle.
Come on now.
Listen, you might see us on any day of the week and you may perceive there are no battles here. You may perceive, and I say to say sometimes, people see us and they just think that, I don't know, like we got it super worked out, super dialed. And
it's taking time.
Thank you. I was about to say, what you're seeing is the fruit of very deep roots. Yeah, that's what you're seeing. Definitely. Very deep roots. It's taken time, as Sarah said. It's taken practice. It's taken humility. It's taken battles. The rolling on the grass. She's trying to get me. The challenges. She said, you heard her say that she was friends, dashing stuff. You heard her say that, yeah? So we've been through a lot of this. Yeah, did I see? I'm sure I saw someone here shouting Ricky here somewhere.
I know.
Maybe it's gone. But these are the realities. Like, so it's taking a lot of work, and you have to decide today.
Yeah.
Today is the day of reckoning. Decide: are you willing to go through the journey?
Yeah.
Some people shouldn't be married because they're not willing to truly walk the walk. Like, when I hear about someone's married and they disannulled it in 24 hours, someone married and a year later there's a drama. Like, listen, I know real challenges happen.
They do.
But your core commitment, your fundamental commitment needs to be, I'm in this for the long haul.
Yeah.
That's it. Sarah told me earlier, and she said no breaks. You know what came later in it? It was like divorce. Which kind? And we discussed that as our fundamental to marriage. So you've got to be mindful. Be mindful of those. Vanessa Uyi is laughing. T-Can says that anger and resentment can actually render you insane, mate. You are 100% correct. We're talking about spiritual things. I've said it so many times, that fester and give birth to other spiritual things. Yeah. Listen, that's the realness. Mrs. I. Cameron says, honey, can you kiss me right now? Kai!
Wherever he is, just ask him.
Listen.
Okay? Ask him. He will kiss you.
Listen, it's necessary. It's necessary. Like, we have to break... We have to break that down. You don't see what you're getting her to do online now. You're live.
No edits.
In that word, let us pray. Diffuse the bomb. You hear that? We should pray. Let's begin to pray.
Yeah.
In the moment, you should pray. That's another diffusion. You see that in the moment. Yes. You remember that?
Yes.
Sometimes that's what we do.
Yeah.
We're in the mix of it, and it's just like, I might just grab her hand.
Yeah, he does.
I'll be just like, let's pray.
He does.
And you've got to do that.
Yes.
Those kind of things.
Thank you,
they blow things up.
I mean, it's like, imagine that scenario, guys. You're in a heated discussion with your husband or your wife, and you stop and you just say to them, you know what? Let's pray. There's so much is going to be going through someone's head at that point. But humble thyself and pray, as the word says.
The thing that
helps. It helps massively.
The thing that benefits me, and I found a benefit about that, is even for my own self, when I verbalize those words, it puts me in reverence of God. You may not be someone who worships God or believes in God. You need to think about the bigger picture. You might, for you, it might be, can we revisit? Do you mind if we have a look at our plan right now? Or what are our emotional, physical goals again? What are our relational goals? You do something that breaks it up. But for those of us that are spiritual, said it. Thank you. In that word, I don't know how that could slip my mind, but. Sometimes, and listen, it's a reluctance. The same way, who was it that said it? But T-Can was saying earlier on about don't touch me, God's working on me. That's what it's reluctance. I might feel it in my spirit, and can I disobey? I'll just grab her hand and say, can we pray? And then she'll be like, so her one is a kiss, my one's the prayer thing, and that's how.
It's not always a kiss, no.
Okay, sorry, but and then that's how we break through. So diffusion is powerful. Lady Chamingo says, when you want to have an argument with your spouse, ask yourself, what will it achieve? You heard us say that. If it causes division, walk away, get a breather. Knowing your spouse will enable you to know what tools to use to diffuse. This is really rich, all right? Be mindful, be sober, and attack everything with a vision for the future.
That's right.
Everything. You're going to have me keep reading. You want to read no more now?
Oh, I just love it when you read, babe.
Oh, thank you, darling. Good advice at Lady Chimingo's. Absolutely, we agree with that. When my husband and I have had, Lady Chimingo says, when my husband and I have had a fallout, he always hugs me by force. And every time he does that, his embrace reminds me that he is there to be my security blanket, and walking away isn't an option.
You see, guys. Okay, you see, we got a testimony here of how diffusing through love helps.
Thank you, Lady Chimingo.
Thank you for being so open.
Because you can hear Sarah saying these things. You can hear us talking about these things and be like, "Well, these not for real. Like, did they read this in a book?" You're not seeing Lady Chimingo's, and she's saying clearly her husband is implementing diffusion strategies to ensure that they maintain a successful relationship. We argue, but we break through. We debate, but we break through. Yes. We disagree, but we break through. Why? Because the marriage is of greater superiority than the menial debate.
Tell them, babe.
Fire for God says, a little seed can grow a massive tree. Absolutely, that is so powerful. Lady Chimingo says, a single friend or a friend who is struggling in their marriage can't give you constructive advice. Keep your circle tight and sacred. Choose who you share your issues with. Not everyone you rock with is with you. Listen, you heard her. You heard Lady Chimingo's.
That's right. Where is it?
Right.
Lady Domingo says, when you reach a level of knowing that you are a team and walking out isn't an option, some arguments will be stepping stones in your relationship and not stumbling blocks. Be prepared to put in the work. And Miss Iconwin says, committed to communication.
Come on now.
Thank you.
Hashtag.
Lady Domingo says, I'm so stubborn, but when my husband hugs me, he hugs the stubbornness and anger out of me. I know I can't go anywhere to discuss my marital problems, but with him, so I take a deep breath.
Praise God. Maturity is a powerful thing.
Yes, and Mr. Indai Word gave a handshake. Not sure he was shaking Lady Chimingos there. Yes, Ecosme says committed to communication.
Come on now, let's do this.
Let's do hashtag committed to communication. Come on, guys. And Lady Chimingos says, in order to experience an amazing marriage, to be prepared to deal with boiling point pressure, heat turned up, refines the refiner's kind of heat. It's not all roses. It's whether you can withstand the heat. Come on now.
Listen.
Come on now.
Powerful. And I was thinking about something. I think the last few days that I learned years and years ago. I was pondering on some writing, and I thought about the fact that it's everyone. You probably heard this. You know, when you squeeze something, it's under pressure.
Yeah.
What comes out is what's inside of it. You squeeze an orange, you get orange juice. You squeeze an apple, you get apple juice. You squeeze a lemon, you get lemon juice. When your marriage is put under pressure, when you are squeezed in your marriage, you may think it's your spouse squeezing you. It may be an external situation squeezing you. It may be something you've implemented internally that's applying the pressure. What comes out of your marriage? Is it love? Is it peace? Is it integrity? Is it your vision? Or is it something else?
Is it war, anger, revenge, hatred? What? And something goes in, something must come out.
That's right. And
simple equation.
And we need to use these things to evaluate who we are. If every time we get into something, you're calling each other names, you must know that those names you're calling is what's inside. Enough to say, I'm sorry. Okay, now you called me that. Let's discuss. Where did that come from? Why did you call me that? What is the issue? You progress beyond that. The next argument, you pray that those words don't come out again. I'm not saying they won't, but you keep tackling those issues, because what comes out of your marriage determines what is actually living inside your marriage.
Wonderful.
Listen. We've loved you.
Yes.
We will continue to love you.
Yes.
And we are here to build and develop, strengthen and bolster your marriages.
Yes.
That you can achieve the visions that you have been called to achieve.
Lady Chimingo says, preach it!
We praise God. I want you to understand that Marriage Matters Live, this show here, Marriage Matters, the playlist, in fact, on this channel, is here to help you develop your relationships. We're here to foster the conversation about marriage. Yeah. So, yeah, as I said at the top end, we're doing a free Marriage Matters, what do we call it? Strategy call for somebody. We're going to pick you out. We'll send you a message and we'll let you know if you filled in. If you follow, we'll pull them out. They'll know. We'll message them. So if you were here from the top end and you follow the instructions from the top of the call, you know what it is, and we'll pick you out and we'll get things started with you.
Yes, please, guys. We haven't got those fancy boom, 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 subscribe things. We're working on it. But please, subscribe to the channel, share the channel, share this video if it's blessed you and it's really helped and enriched you, added some kind of value to you. Please share the video with your friends and your family, your loved ones, and all those that you know, because obviously we can only go so far.
That's
but
right.
With you guys we can go so much further. And yeah, thank you so much, each and every one of you that has said something. Oh, we got one more. Oh, babes, you read that.
You guys are, Lady Domingo says, you guys are amazing. I feel very blessed to be part of an amazing ministry that empowers people. Yeah, listen, we thank God. We give God all the glory and all the grace for this privilege and opportunity. He's provided for us to be able to do this. Yeah. So we thank you, Lady Chimingos, for your support. Thank you for being here. Yes. Thank you for sharing, for Lady Chimingos and everybody who's in the comments.
Every single one of you.
Listen, guys who are putting in smiley faces, you guys who are laughing, some people are just saying, oh and ow and all those kind of stuff. Listen, all of that stuff, we appreciate appreciate it because
Yes, we
this
do.
channel, it is your conversation
Yes.
that fosters what happens here on this channel.
Yes.
We love you greatly, and we'll be back in a fortnight. You'll see us. My name's Ezekiel.
And I'm Sarah.
And we were here today for Marriage Matters Live.
Live.
God bless you and have a great evening.
Remember, what was the challenge quickly?
How long can you go
Without arguing.
That's right.
Let us know in 2 weeks how it went.
All right, see you
All
later.
right, bye.